Could it be? With me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Washington football overtime. Washington falls in week 2 to the Arizona Cardinals, 30-15. There's a lot to kind of unpack in this football game. This is what my head was telling me. Can it be that it was all so simple then? Can it be that it was all so simple then? It was all so simple a week ago, right? Down by 17, roar back, score 27 unanswered. All is well. Defense gets 8 sacks, forces 2 turnovers. And, man, it was fun last week. Or forced 4 turnovers last week. Not so much this week. And you can't continue to do the things that we did last week. And I told you this was the type of trap that you could fall into if you continue to have the struggles we had on offense last week. And if the defense wasn't able to create turnovers, which they did, and we'll talk about that, we were going to be in some trouble. But you could see we could move the football on Arizona, which was the frustrating part about this football game. This didn't have to be 30-15. We did this to ourselves. So very frustrating in that regard, but there are a lot of things that are glaring watching this football game. And, the first thing I was going to say, before I even get started, I'm dressed in all black like the Omen. You know what that means, okay? Took one on the chin, all right? But I was going to come in here and say, man, we fight to the very end. Say what you want about this team. We fight. This could have gotten ugly, all right? It was already an ass whooping at halftime, 20-0, and we came out and we fought in the second half. And I was ready to come out and say, hey, we fight to the end. And then Ron doesn't take a timeout. Not a single one. We go to the end of the game with 3 timeouts in our pocket. Now, yes, the game's over, and you'd like to get the hell out of Dodge and say, hey, we've got enough injuries. We took one on the chin. Let's just go home and regroup. However, that's not how you do things in this league. You fight to the end. You saw the Cowboys come back today, and I'm not saying that's what was going to happen with us, but you saw what happened with the Cowboys today. You fight until the very end. Who's to say that the first play from scrimmage on the next possession isn't an 85-yard Terry McLaurin bomb or 75-yard, depending on if Steven Sims decides he wants to bring the football out of the end zone and get back to the 15. But who says it's not a 75-yard? He got behind him on the last possession. All right, who's to say he doesn't go off for a 75-yarder? Now all of a sudden, you got 1 timeout left, or 2, depending on how you play it. All right, and now it's 1 minute and 37 seconds left, and we're only down, 8. But he didn't give us a chance. He didn't take any timeouts. What the hell is up with that? That's not the message that you're supposed to send to your team when you talk about fighting until the end. You quit on your team by not calling a timeout there in that situation. Now, I don't know what excuse he's going to give us. I'm dying to hear his rationale behind not calling a timeout at the end of the game, but that was bullshit. I'm just going to say that right off the top. Now that because that's going to be a topic of discussion this week, just so you know. That's going to be a topic of discussion this week. The reporters are going to beat him up about it, and he's going to have to answer to that. And I don't like that shit. That's not how you do things in the NFL. You don't quit at the end of the game on your team. You fight until the very end. We watched Joe Burrow go down the field, 3 4th-down conversions, scored a touchdown, cut it to 5, and try an onside kick. They didn't recover, but at least they tried. We didn't tonight. That shit right there, that's trash. Anyway, I digress. There are some things that were apparent in this game. And I'm going to start from the beginning. I see some super chats, so I'm going to get to those super chats here in a second. I just want to say these couple of things, and then I'm going to get to you guys' comments. Number 1, we need a real tight end. Logan Thomas is cool. He's a second tight end in this league. I'd love to have him. I like him. I think he's cool to have as a second tight end option. He's not a number 1 tight end. He's not. But that's number 1. Number 2, the offensive line is good. It's not terrible. I know a lot of you think this offensive line is horrendous. It's not horrendous. We're going to find out now because the depth is being tested. This is the thing we were afraid of, and this is why they didn't want to give Brandon Sheriff the long-term deal. Don't know the extent of the injury. It didn't look good. A guy fell on his entire leg. It bent the wrong way. He could be gone for the season. He could be gone for 6 weeks. We don't know at this point. He's not coming back next week. I can assure you of that. Steven Sims is going to show up on the injury report as well this week. He could not play next week. versus Cleveland. We'll see how that turns out. Yes, I know he came back in the game and made some plays too. He's going to be sore tomorrow. It's going to get progressively worse overnight. How does this respond to treatment? And again, I don't know exactly what was ailing him. I saw somebody roll up on him. Terry McLaurin on the catch. Roll up on him afterwards. Might be an ankle. We'll see. He could be out for a number of weeks. We can't afford it. The next big takeaway. We don't have. Remember, everyone was talking about how we don't have enough around Dwayne, and we were dismayed. We were absolutely flabbergasted how everyone could talk about we don't have enough weapons around Dwayne. Now, I told you, when Kelvin Harmon got hurt, I started to change my mind. And I said, it shouldn't be that way. Like, Dontrell Inman should be enough to fill in. But I told you, I felt that way in my heart of hearts. Once Harmon went down, I said, I'm not sure we have enough around Dwayne. This is apparent. It's the Terry McLaurin, and told you what teams have said they're going to do. We're going to take Terry away, or at least try to, and force somebody else to beat us. Who else is going to beat us? I don't know who that guy is right now. Sims is going to have to be a bigger part of this offense. J.D. McKissick, I thought, showed some things at the end of this game. He needs a bigger role, and we see what Gibson can be, So I think you've got pieces there, but they've got to make sure they maximize those pieces. I don't think they're quite doing that at this moment. The offensive line is at best marginal. It's at best average, okay? This is another week where Dwayne under siege a bit, not as comfortable as he would like to be in the pocket. Sometimes Dwayne holds on to the damn ball too long. That's something else that you cannot ignore. It's not always the offensive line, as I showed you on film on Patreon. It's not always on the offensive line. Sometimes it's on Dwayne. Get rid of the football. And for some reason, I can't explain why, he is allergic to throwing the football to J.D. McKissick out into the flats when JD's got one-on-one with a linebacker. I do not know. That two-point conversion, I'm staring at J.D. McKissick the entire time. JD's in the flats. Throw him the football. And then I think there's a Dwayne Haskins discussion that has to be had. I'm not willing to go off the deep end like some of you are. Some of you are already on the get rid of Haskins train. He's not good enough. He's average. And look, I'm not here to tell you that what I'm seeing right now is here. It can dispel anything that anybody's saying out there, because he's not doing himself any favors with the way he's playing right now. He's not doing himself any favors with the way he's seeing the field. And here's the thing. I sat here today and I watched a rookie quarterback in Justin Herbert, first career NFL start, playing his ass off versus the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. I'm watching Justin Herbert over here make play after play after play. And I'm saying to myself, man, for all of the shit that I talked about Justin Herbert, this is really impressive. I've never once, I take that back. Because I was really impressed with Dwayne in the Giants game for the first half, in the Eagles game for 4 quarters. But I just need Dwayne to be more consistent. This is frustrating watching some of these passes. You got Logan Thomas open on a 3rd down, and Dwayne just flat out misses him. Like, we can't have that, guy. We can't have it. There are plays where you're like, okay, a little bit of pressure, didn't get to step into it, whatever the case may be. But then there are other times where you're just like, dude, there's no excuse for this. I need you to be more accurate with the football. That Terry deep ball, sure, Terry could have caught that. You know what would have helped, though? If that ball is leading Terry up the field towards the end zone. It's a touchdown. Why does Terry have to dive towards out of bounds and track it over his outside shoulder when there's no safety over the middle of the field? Lead him up the field, and it's a touchdown. There are too many instances where Dwayne is inaccurate with the football. And in this league, when you miss opportunities, you hurt yourself. A missed opportunity on a 3rd down is the equivalent of sometimes a turnover. It's like a long interception, essentially. But you no longer have possession. When Dontrell Inman is standing there on 3rd and 2, and I get it, your feet aren't set, and there's a little bit of pressure, feels like the pocket's collapsing around you. It's a simple throw. Don't skip it to Dontrell Inman. Complete the 1st down. All right? So there's just too many instances. And, we could talk about Well, he's trying to build a rapport with Scott Turner, and we could talk about how, it's a work in progress. All of those things are true. But you know what isn't a work in progress? Something that doesn't have anything to do with a play caller? Accuracy. That has nothing to do with what the play is. That has nothing to do with, only thing that I can say it goes hand in hand with accuracy is the protection and whether you can step up or not. But there are times where Dwayne has time. And he simply is just inaccurate. And his leg, all right, that front leg will lock up. And he will not step into his throw. He will flat-foot it. And I'm like, what are you doing? Okay? And then, in my mind, I keep trying to make up these excuses for him. Well, he throws better on the run. And then we get a play call. And it still was pass interference. What the hell is Cam Sims doing on that particular play? It's not a blocking play, Cam Sims. You're supposed to actually be running a route. Just get in the way. Don't block. It's not a wide receiver screen. You can't block 5 yards down the field. This is why you can't get on the field, because when you do stupid stuff. Anyhow, even if he didn't do that, Dwayne airmails the football 18 yards over Dontrell Inman's head, so it doesn't matter anyway. And there was no pressure. He was rolling out. How do you miss that badly? It's 3rd and 2. He's open. Hit him first down. And you throw it 10 yards over his head. I say all of that, and then you go to the fourth quarter. He settles down, and now he's throwing darts. Him and McLaurin get on a hot streak. They get on the same page, which they weren't on a back shoulder throw earlier in the game. But he gets hot, he hits McLaurin, and then he hits Steven Sims on a beautiful corner route, and it actually had touch. Oh my God, go figure. Who knew he could throw the football with touch? Dropped it right in the basket. It was a beautiful throw. And you say, you have this in you. Why do we have to fight you to get it out of you? So there's a Dwayne Haskins discussion to be had. I'm not going to allow you guys, because I know there are going to be a lot of these comments out there. Dwayne's trash. He's average. He's a waste of a pick. He's a bust. I seen all your comments. I saw it on Twitter. I haven't looked in the comment section here, but I'm pretty sure if I scoured through it, it'd be a bunch of Dwayne bashing going on. We're 2 weeks into the season. Okay? Relax. However, it's frustrating because the defense is fighting their asses off. They're trying. Okay, I told you, and I put up some film last night. I told you guys what kind of a problem Kyler Murray was going to be with his legs. I said, look, he can throw it too, but they're a dink and dunk offense. They did hit a deep one on us, but I said they hit 2 deep ones, actually. I take that back. I said they're a dink and dunk offense, though. He gets it out of his hands quickly, so don't expect a whole bunch of sacks. And we didn't sack him a bunch of times, but we did get to him. We did rattle his cage. I told you he doesn't like to get hit. And he threw that interception on an Eli Manning special, a no-look special. He was afraid of Daron Payne coming, knocking on the door. And he said, hey, I don't want any part of this hot potato. And threw it. And Landon Collins, Johnny on the spot, eyeballing Kyler Murray, picks it off. And I said, okay, here we go, defense. Here we go. All right, 7-0, new ball game. Offense, this is what they do. They set you up. They threw up the alley. All you got to do is dunk it home. All right? It's like we playing volleyball. They served it up. All you got to do is spike it over the net. It's the point. And what do? We go right back and give it back to them. Like, we didn't want the gift. Okay? They said, nah, man, what are you doing? We could never accept this kind of token of your appreciation to us. We have to give this back to you. We can't accept this. I'm sorry. Your money's no good here. And gave it right back to him. And you could blame Dwayne for that. I think he held on to the ball a little bit too long. But also the offensive line got beat on that play too. And so to me, that's where this game turned. You're down 7-0. The defense makes a play. They say, here we are. We're here. All right. They rattle the cage of Kyler Murray early. They get to him. All right. They force him into a mistake. And I told you they would. I said, Kyler's going to he's going to throw an interception. And we need to force a fumble. We didn't get the fumble, but we did get the Kyler Murray interception. And we were in business. 12-yard line. Or 18, one of the two. Gave it right. Are you kidding me? Give it right back 2 plays later? Unbelievable. Whole game changed on that play right there. The Steven Sims fumble, that doesn't help. Doesn't help at all. All right? But that was the play there. The fumble by Dwayne was so demoralizing to the defense because you go out, you make a play like that, and the offense, at least come away with 3. At at least come away with something. So we say, okay, we're going to settle down now. We got points on the board. Let's settle down. Same thing with Dwayne on the sack on third down. I hear Brady Quinn say, can't take a sack here. You're in field goal range. The one thing you can't do is take a sack. And I look at Dwayne. I say, hey, Dwayne, don't do anything stupid here. And he said, oh, I'm good, man. I got you. And he rolls out. And there were a couple of times tonight where I'm saying, Dwayne, why are you running towards the pressure? Run away from it. There was one play. Brandon Sheriff is getting beat to the inside on play action fake. And they want to take a shot down the field. And he rushes across Dwayne's face to his left. And Dwayne then vacates the pocket to the left, right to where that guy is. I'm like, Dwayne, the bootleg is taking you to the right. Why are you running to your left, right where this guy's coming from? Go to the right. Buy some time. If nothing else, run. If it's not there to run, throw it out of bounds. He runs right into the pressure. What are you doing? A lot of things need to be cleaned up. But again, it's only week 2. But you know what this was? This was the cold, ice cold water that I needed to be poured on my face. Because, I was getting a little excited. Getting excited. And so I knew my head said, I told you guys this already. My head said we weren't going to win this game. But my heart, and I told you, never listen to your heart. Your heart will make a fool out of you. I did anyway. I had to pay. That's okay. I was willing to take this one. I was willing to take this L. I was willing to take it. You won't get me again, though. All I need is one slap in the face. That's it. Let's get to your comments, though. You guys have a lot to say. So I want to read you guys' comments and see how you feel. Remember, if you're out there, first and foremost, I want to thank you guys for joining me after this game. We'll do this every single week. Washington football overtime after every game. Sorry for the tardiness tonight. I was really trying to watch the conclusion of that fabulous Chargers-Chiefs game. Unfortunately, they went to overtime. I can't stay, so I'll have to catch the rest of it. I'm recording it, so I'll be able to catch the rest of that ball game. But that's nor here nor there. If you're out there, you want your comment read on the air, best way to do that is Super Chats. Not going to lie to you. Super Chats they're direct. They're going to get you in front of the line. If we have no more Super Chats, I'll try to read as many comments as possible. Use the hashtag LouieTeeLive to have your comment read on the air. Again, can't guarantee you that you will if you don't Super Chat. You give yourself a better chance when you Super Chat. But if we are out of Super Chats and we still have time, this is an hour-long program. If we have time, I'll then jump to the comment section. So with that being said, let's jump into these Super Chats. I want to knock these down one by one. So got the first one here. This one's for Derek B. Thank you for the Super Chat, Derek B. Greatly appreciate you. Derek B. writes, lessons learned. 1, cards are good and dubs are not yet. 2, O-line is trash and should have paid Trent. 3, Haskins has regressed and looks lost. 4, Sims is not a punt returner. 5, D can make plays but can't stop drives. So let's take those one at a time. Cards are good, dubs are not yet. Yes, I agree with that sentiment. I told you they're ahead of us. We're going through what they went through last year. They were a 5-10-1 team last year, but they were exciting on offense. We're going to be the direct opposite. We're going to be exciting on defense, but we're going to be in ball games, but we're not going to win a bunch of them, which is why I said 6-10, 7-9 before the season started. Haven't moved off of that. I didn't even move off of that after last week's performance, but there was a little bit of optimism after last week. That has been tempered a bit much after today's showing. 2, the O-line is trash. Should have paid Trent. Trent didn't want to be here, so I don't agree with that. Trent didn't want to be here, so it's as simple as that. O-line is trash. I don't think it's trash. I've stated this already. I think the offensive line is marginal at best, especially when you start testing the depth of this football team. Now with Brandon Sheriff going down for an undisclosed amount of time, he's not going to be back anytime soon. I can assure you of that. It's going to test the depth, something we were already a little bit nervous about. And so Wes Schweitzer, this is what they paid him for, to come in and be a backup. He's going to have to play now in a starting role. I don't know how comfortable I am with that, but we don't have a choice at this point. So offensive line could use an upgrade or two, but this is why you draft. You can't fix everything overnight. So we drafted a guy in the 4th round. Maybe he's the answer as the left tackle. Maybe he's not. Jaron Christian had another rough go of it. It wasn't terrible. Again, this is where I think some of you guys overreact when you say the line is trash. It wasn't awful. We've seen awful before along the offensive line. This is not it. So, Haskins regrets, looks lost. I agree. I don't think he looks lost. I think he looks scared to me. He looks a bit skittish. He looks like a guy that's the clock is speeding up on him. He doesn't trust his offensive line. I can tell you that much, as he shouldn't, especially when he's back there for longer than he should be with the football. He can't live back there. This offensive line isn't built for him to stand back there for 4 seconds with the football. But I think he has regressed just a bit, but that's to be expected. My problem isn't the regression in looking lost, because he's a new offense. And you don't trust but one or two guys anyway. He's throwing to the same two guys. It's either Logan Thomas or Terry McLaurin. If it's not one of those two, he refuses to throw the football to anybody else, it seems like. But I don't care about that. I care about the inaccuracy. I remember this very vividly after the Detroit game last year. I was pissed. I was steaming. Like Willie Beeman last year after the Detroit game. And we won the game. But I was mad because Dwayne was so inaccurate. We should have blown Detroit out. And Dwayne missed so many easy opportunities in that game that it forced us to have to steal the game from late against, I want to say it was Jeff Driscoll who was starting for the Lions in that game. I don't even remember who the quarterback was. It doesn't matter. He was inaccurate. It drove me nuts. This took me back to that game. This game here took me back to that game. That was frustrating because there were opportunities to keep drives alive, and really the defense just needed a buoy. They just needed a life raft. Okay, somebody save them. These 3 and outs are killing the defense. They're killing them. But anyway, I don't think he looks lost. I think he looks scared. He has regressed, but I don't care about the regression because he'll get up to speed with the playbook. I'm upset about and disappointed with the accuracy. That's the problem that I'm having, because accuracy usually is something that you don't fix. But then again, this is a guy that at the end of the season last year was completing passes at about a 70% clip. So I know he can be accurate. It's the inconsistency that drives me nuts. Number 4, Sims is not a punt returner. Remember, the last group was reluctant to put him back there. There are reasons as to why. I haven't given up on him as a punt returner. So he's dynamic anytime the ball is in his hands. I don't like that he runs backwards sometimes, but to each its own. And number 5, the D can make plays but can't stop drives. I disagree with that. We've gotten off the field enough. Here's the problem. First of all, let me say this. Some of you were killing the linebackers last week. I told you when we were breaking down the film that the linebackers were not that bad. Kevin Pierre-Louis was a stud today. Say what you want about this defense, not being able to get off the field, stop drives, whatever. Kevin Pierre-Louis was a standout today. Of all the guys on the defensive side of the football, he's the guy that you looked at and said, okay, that's the football player right there. They've been talking about this guy. You're seeing it. Anyway, here's the problem with the defense. They don't play situational football very well. That's the thing that drives me nuts with this defense. It's 3rd and 22 and we're giving up 55. It's 4th and 2 and we're playing 5 yards off, in the 3-yard slant is their easy money. It's 3rd and 7 and Jimmy Moreland is playing zone and he's giving DeAndre Hopkins 10 yards of cushion like Snoop Hopkins runs a 4-3. And I'm like, is there a reason why you guys are giving them this much space in these situations where you know that the ball's coming out quick? It's not like Arizona had 15 passes of over 20 yards a week ago and went 7 of 15 on those passes 20 yards or longer. This is a dink and dunk offense. So the fact that you're giving them this much space on 4th and 2 and 3rd and 4 and 3rd and 7 is driving me insane. What are you doing? So, I think the defense is going to be fine, honestly. This is a tough offense. Look, give Arizona some credit. They're a tough offense to deal with, okay? Kyler Murray is a beast, and we had no answers. So, and a lot of teams won't when it's all said and done. Thank you for that super chat, Derek B. Got one here from Jordan Like the GOAT. Thank you for the super chat, Jordan Like the GOAT. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, don't know why people thought our O-line was any good. I've been saying it for months. Our O-line is trash, especially without Sheriff. Again, I don't contend the offensive line is trash. I think it's marginal at best. Okay. But the depth is what scares me. Now we're going to get into a situation where it could get ugly for us. Because now we're tapping into that depth that we really didn't want to see along the offensive line. Look, offensive line is what it is. You can't fix everything. This is the thing you guys have to understand. Some of you don't understand this concept. You can't fix everything in one offseason. The first thing we needed to do was get rid of Bruce. We did that. The next thing that we needed to do was we needed to find a head coach that wanted this job, that was credible enough to take this job, that could lead us and give us a reason to believe. We got that guy in Ron Rivera. The next thing that they needed to do was figure out the quarterback position. That's still a work in progress. The next thing they needed to do was figure out who belongs here and who doesn't. They're still trying to figure that out as well. And then the Trent Williams situation, you could argue that should have been the third thing on the list. After the coach was hired, first thing you need to do is smooth things over with Trent Williams. Well, they didn't do that. Okay? It is what it is. You move on. The offensive line is going to be fixed. It's just going to take some time. Left tackles don't walk the street. Right tackles don't walk the street in this league. If they're any good, the team that they're on usually is going to hold on to that guy. And if one does hit the market, like one did in Jack Conklin, he's going to get top dollar. Who's trying to do that when you can draft your own? So it's going to take time to revamp this offensive line. You're just going to have to roll with the guys you have. They're not as bad as you guys make them out to be. They're not. And there are ways, I've talked about this, there are ways to circumvent having an offensive line that isn't great. So let's see how good Scott Turner and company are. Anyhow, thank you for the super chat, Jordan, like the GOAT. Got another one here from Rob U. Thank you for the super chat, Rob U, who writes, Lou, can we end the Apke and Jaron Christian experiment and call up the great Gary Clark to be our number 2 wide receiver? Apke, look, you guys have no patience. What is your problem? You want Apke to be a beast right out of the gate. The guy is literally starting his second game of his NFL career. Let that sink in for a second. That's like me coming to your job after the second day, you make a mistake, and I say, look, get rid of his ass. He doesn't know what he's doing. You've been there for 2 days. Relax. This is his second start. And it's a brand new defense. Yeah, he's making some mistakes. He may ultimately suck. Okay? He may ultimately be garbage, and you may be absolutely right. But why would you end an experiment when the results aren't even final yet? Okay? You flip a coin 50 times, right? Let's say you're trying to figure out which one comes up more, heads or tails. You can't say, I'm going to do 50 trials, flip it twice, they're both tails, and say, well, it's going to end up being tails more. We're done. That's not how this works. It's trial and error. Let this man make his mistakes. Let him learn from his mistakes. Now, if he continues to repeat the same things over and over again, that's when you get rid of him. Right now, he's still flying around the football field. Look, yes, he gave up another big one today. And that's the second time in 2 weeks that a guy has gotten behind him. That can't happen. This was different than last week, though. All right? Last week, he took a poor angle. This week, he was flat-footed. He was sitting on something, and it didn't come. That happens, too. Okay? It happens. Terry McLaurin got behind their defender. It wasn't a great ball by Dwayne, but it was a catchable one. But these things happen. All right? Yeah, give him some time. If we're seeing the same mistakes from Troy Apke in week 5, in week 6, that's when you say, all right, Cameron Curl, you're up. All right? But until then, and again, Cameron Curl and Troy Apke are 2 different football players. All right? Cameron Curl is more like Landon Collins, less like Troy Apke. We really don't have another free safety on this roster. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. Cameron Curl is best around the line of scrimmage, which is why you always see Cameron Curl around the line of scrimmage. So Troy Apke, for all intents and purposes, is all we got at free safety. So if you want to move on from Apke, who are you going to put in? because we don't have another true free safety on this roster. I'm just telling you. Brutally honest with you. Don't have another guy that can really run back there. So, the choice is yours. Who you going to put in the game? You got a guy? You making up somebody? You want to put Kendall Fuller back there? He can't even get healthy and onto the field yet. So, before you start trying to bench Troy Apke, come up with a solution first. All right? Thank you for the super chat, Rob. Got another super chat here from Slope. Thank you for the super chat, Slope. Greatly appreciate you. He says, you know what's worse than this loss? It's living in Michigan and having to listen to it with their new radio broadcast crew. I bet that is terrible. I feel bad for you. I'm sorry. I apologize on behalf of all Washington football fans everywhere for your suffering, because I can only imagine Julie Donaldson, Bram Weinstein, and D'Angelo Hall being insufferable on the call. I can only imagine. Julie's voice to me, for some reason, is like nails on a chalkboard. I don't have a problem with Bram, but he's never done it before. And D'Angelo, same boat as Bram. I don't have a D'Angelo Hall problem. I like D Hall, but he's never done this before. So you're just throwing a collection of people in the booth that have never done it. And it's like fans watching the game. And that can be okay at times, but that can get annoying very quickly. I got a little tidbit of it last week. I was like, ugh, that's rough. But it was their first one. So I'm just going to apologize in advance. I don't know how bad it is, but I apologize in advance. Got one here from Barrett Downing. Thank you for the super chat. As always, BD, greatly appreciate you. Barrett writes, I think we need another receiver also, but I'm in it for the long haul. Me too. We definitely need more help at receiver. This is easy to see. I think this is a game. I kind of felt that way last week. Like, there's just not enough out there. I told you guys once Kelvin went down, I just had this feeling in my gut like we just don't have enough skill guys. But, you know, Antonio Gibson being versatile. Has he even caught a pass yet? Yeah, Dwayne did attempt one to him down the sideline. But has he caught a pass yet? Maybe he's caught a screen. I'm not sure. But, you know, for all of this excitement about Gibson and his versatility, all he's been doing is running the football. There has been no versatility. There has been no exploiting of linebackers and safeties and coverage. Guys aren't separating. That goes for J.D. McKissick, but they keep running the same damn rail route up the sideline with McKissick and Gibson, and they're not creating any separation. And there needs to be more innovation here to get these guys out in space. And then Dwayne has to be willing to throw these guys the football. Check it down. Let these guys work in space, especially McKissick, who looked really good today. Thank you for that super chat, BD. Got one here from Rob U. Double up. Rob U, thank you for doubling up, who writes, Moreland really struggled today. He was playing against one of the best receivers, if not the best receiver in all of football. What did you think he was going to do? You thought he was going to go out and ball again? Not against DeAndre Hopkins. And he pretty much was in zone. What did I tell you we were going to play on the film? What did I tell you? We were going to do primarily today a bunch of zone coverage. I think I might have even told you guys that on the Washington Football Nightly program on either Thursday or Friday night. We're going to play a lot of zone. And Jimmy was primarily in zone all game. He was in zone a lot last week as well, but he was giving up too much space this week. He was giving up too much space. And when you do that to a team that likes to go with the quick passing game, I told you, a lot of quick game coming. It's almost like these guys weren't aware that 5 to 7 yard passes in abundance was coming their way. They seem to be lost at the fact that they're not throwing it 40, 50 yards down the field. They're throwing it 5 yards. Then they're going to get to the line of scrimmage, hurry up, and do it again. And if they get to 3rd and 1, or they get to 4th and 1, or they get to 4th and 2, or they get to 3rd and 4, and they don't convert, they're going to go for it on 4th down. They're going to throw another quick pass. Get your hands up in the passing lane. We didn't do that today. I didn't see any hands up, frankly. So that's something you have to do against Murray. I broke that down on the film as well. But, Moreland didn't have his best game, but he'll be fine. Thank you for that super chat, Rob. Got Rob U again, tripling up. Thank you so much for tripling up, Rob U. Greatly appreciate you. Rob writes, Haskins looks lost back there at times. The O-line doesn't help. Please set your damn feet and deliver an accurate ball. I think I agree with pretty much 98% of that statement. Again, I don't think he looks lost as much as he looks like a guy that's timid because of an offensive line that makes him feel like he needs to get rid of the football a little bit quicker than he should have to. But that being said, his process is being sped up. There's no excuse for some of these inaccuracies. There are times where he doesn't get to step into the football, but a lot of these, I told you, even on the touchdown pass last week to Logan Thomas, he got so excited that he didn't step into that football. He threw that thing as flat-footed as the day is long, that left knee locked out like it usually does, right? And he threw that thing flat-footed. And he got away with it last week. Not so much this week. He's got to be better. Got a super chat here from Door Gunner. Thank you for the super chat, Door Gunner. Greatly appreciate you. Door Gunner writes, Haskins needs to be better, but the protection does too. I think he has happy feet knowing he doesn't have time when sometimes he does. I think that's more accurate than people saying he looks lost back at quarterback. I think that's more of an accurate assessment of where Dwayne Haskins is in his thought process right now. I don't think he trusts the 5 guys in front of him. I don't think he feels like he has, this is the second game in a row that he's been stripped of the football. You get stripped of the football 2 games in a row, and it does something to your psyche. Mentally, you start thinking, is somebody coming from behind? Do I need to hurry up? But even with that being said, there are times when Dwayne is still camping back there with the football. So even for a guy that you feels like he needs to speed up his internal clock and looks like he's playing with a sped up internal clock, doesn't always seem like he has that sense of urgency. That's what I'm talking about with the consistency with Dwayne. That's the thing I struggle with. That throw to Sims, that was gorgeous. That corner route, that was gorgeous. Those slants to McLaurin, that ball to Inman on that third down, those were good balls. And there were quick decisions. The one to Thomas on that one drive, great decision. Got it out to him quickly. Got up the field. I mean, there are times where Haskins looks in control, in command of the offense. He gets into a rhythm. Then there are other times where you're like, dude, what are you doing right now? Make a decision. Be decisive. Do something. Don't just stand back there. How many times did he almost get stripped of the football? As he was throwing the football, he's getting hit. I agree with you, Door Gunner. I think it's a combination of Dwayne and the protection. And sometimes when he doesn't need to have happy feet, he does. And that's what protection issues will do to you. Cameron Montgomery. Thank you for the super chat. Cameron Montgomery, who writes, hate losing, but I like what we saw to be confident in a full season showing. Dwayne was bad, but finally played with consistent urgency toward the end. I agree with that. He was bad for 3 quarters. I thought he played well in the 4th quarter. The problem is you can't wait until the 4th quarter to play with that sense of urgency, and you can't wait till the 4th quarter to play with that kind of consistency. We need that from the start of the game, and that's what Ron Rivera talked about. Remember, Rivera said he was looking for from 2 guys in particular, Chase Young and Dwayne Haskins, and he was looking for consistency, better starts to the game. He thought both of them started slow last game, but came on as the game wore on. Neither one of those guys were impact players in this particular game. Young, I thought, had some good plays early in the game. He was hustling, but his presence wasn't felt in this game. And again, a lot of that goes to Kyler Murray and the athlete that he is. He causes a lot of problems back there. But Haskins was not consistent from start to finish. He was only consistent really for 1 quarter, and that was the 4th quarter. And unfortunately, you were down 27-3, or what was it, 24-3, I believe it was. No, it was 27 because they went for 2 after they scored the touchdown. So, yeah, I mean, just got to be better, period. From start to finish, got to be better. Got to have better decision making. Can't take a sack on 3rd down when you're in field goal range to knock you out of field goal range. Like those kind of things, they simply can't happen. Thank you for that super chat, Cameron Montgomery. Rob, you almost can't see you at this point. I really appreciate you, Rob, you as always. Thank you for the super chat. Rob, you writes, can we please bring in Delaney Walker? That doesn't really change anything at this point. Delanie Walker is 697 years old. What is he going to do? All right. And he may technically be an upgrade over what we have. It's not going to change much. We need a real, like Delanie Walker's 6'2". We need a 6'5", because Dwayne strikes me as a Cam Newton type of guy where he's going to miss high. You need a 6'5" athletic tight end that can go up and get it. There was a ball on that first possession. Might have been the second possession. I think it was the first possession. Yeah, it was, because we went 3 and out. Go figure. That's what we do, right? On the opening possession. But it was a good ball by Dwayne. I thought it was a well-placed ball. You know, maybe could have been down just a teeny wee bit, but it wasn't. Logan Thomas needs to climb the ladder. You're 6'6", go and get it. But he's not a tremendous athlete, is Logan Thomas. He's an average athlete, and that's okay. We're asking him to do number 1 tight end things. He's at best a number 2 tight end in this league. That's not his fault. Dwayne threw him a number 1 tight end ball, and he gave us number 2 tight end effort on that play. And that's all he can give us. That's the best he can contribute. I'm not mad at Logan Thomas for that. He's a number 2 tight end. He's TE2. Dwayne threw him a TE1 ball. He couldn't go up and make a TE1 catch and play because he's a tight end number 2. I'm not mad at him for that. Can't ask that guy to do something he's not capable of doing. That was a good ball by Dwayne. Logan Thomas not capable of making that play. And that's okay. We just need better. You can't fix everything in one offseason. We've talked about it. This wasn't the draft to fix your tight end position. This wasn't the draft. Next year's draft, I have a feeling, is going to be deep at the tight end position. We should be able to get us something that'll be able to help. You know, I think I said this. I know a lot of you probably weren't watching, but I said this watching the Browns game. Man, it'd be nice to have Austin Hooper. He looks pretty damn good in the run game and as a pass catcher. Catches damn near everything. Be nice to have him on this football team. He didn't want to be here, though. That's not our problem. And, oh, by the way, we didn't want to pay him what he thought he was worth. That's cool. You can get a tight end in the draft. We just better be able to find one that's tall, athletically gifted with good hands. He's going to need all of those things because Dwayne, when he misses high. And Dwayne's going to put the ball up there. Guys going to, like Gandy Golden, put your damn big boy hands on. We're going to need you here shortly. All right? Because Inman missed a ball over the middle of the football field. Yeah, it was high. Yeah, it was high. Guess what, Inman? You're 6'3". I need that ball. I need it. We don't have a lot of big guys. You got to climb the ladder, and you got to catch that one. Yeah, it was high. I get it. I need it. Okay? I need it. So, thank you for that super chat, Rob U. Got another one here. GearCell1. Thank you for the super chat, GearCell1. Greatly appreciate you. GearCell writes, our offense is playing like somebody wearing high water brown slacks with white socks. Tragic. Yes. Yes, they are. They're playing like they're from the 1930s. No, I'm kidding. This offense, you know, one of the things that is kind of frustrating watching this offense is that we run too much of our offense from the gun. I'd like to see Dwayne under center a little bit more. I feel like the offense is somewhat predictable because the gun takes away so many elements of your offense. You know, play action fake isn't what it is. You know, I'd like to see us run some more under center stuff, but that's what Scott Turner is comfortable. Really, Dwayne is probably more comfortable from the gun anyway. But I'm more of a traditionalist. I like running offense from under center. It's fine to run, 20, 30% of your offense from gun. For us, we run about 65, 70% of our offense from gun. I don't really like that. But, what can you do? What can you do? Anyhow, got another super chat. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Cameron Montgomery, greatly appreciate you. Cameron writes, let's see. Got to go back up to that comment. Uh-oh. Is it gone? I hate when it does this. Might have gotten rid of that comment. Hold on. Let me pull this chat out and see if I can go back to the beginning. It might not let me do it. That sucks. Hold on. Let's do it. Let's see if this happens. No. It didn't let me pull up the chat. Oh man, that really sucks. I just some comments just got erased. I just missed one from my guy, and I might have missed more super chats. I'm sorry if your super chat got erased. I don't know why it does this. It's so many comments coming in. I guess I got to get to them faster. I guess that's the comment section's way of telling me I got to get to them faster. Sorry about that, Cameron, and anybody else's super chat that I may have missed because it erased it, and it does that sometimes. Kevin the PRF had a super chat here. He says, "You keep talking me off the Haskins cliff. I keep seeing a guy who can't get past his first read, and Turner is keeping him in 3-step drops. I keep trying to talk myself off the Haskins cliff because I've seen flashes. Had I not seen any flashes from this guy, I would have already been sending him to the Wolves. But because if there was no Eagles and Giants game last season, to hell with the Lions game. Rivera keeps talking about the Lions game and game was on the line and he made plays. I don't want to hear that shit. The reason we were in that position in the Lions game was because Dwayne wasn't good enough for the first 3.5 quarters. But the Eagles game last year for 4 quarters, he was outstanding. The Giants game for the first 2 quarters, he was unconscious, okay? He didn't miss. And so those games are stuck in my head and I know he's fully capable. But at the same time, there's only so many times you can slap me in the damn face with inconsistencies and inaccuracy before I say, all right, enough's enough. So he just has to, and again, I've stressed this to you guys. Everybody doesn't mature at the same rate. Some guys come in and get it immediately. Other guys need time. He may be one of these quarterbacks that needs time. Will he get it? I don't know. Because a lot of people are saying, hey, give him 16 games this year. If he doesn't play well, you got to move on. And so that may be the case for him. And he may just need time. But time's not on his side. He's got to perform, and he's got to perform at a higher clip or else. Look, his mentor already told him. You think last year, his mentor is Sean Springs. He already told him. You think last year was bad? When everybody was talking about should Washington draft a quarterback? You thought that was bad? Go out and play inconsistent ball this year and see what they'll be saying about you. So he's not trending in the right direction right now, but it's 2 weeks of football. I'm not giving up on him. Told you guys that already. Derek B says, thank you for doubling up, Derek B. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Derek B writes, I've seen Haskins be accurate. Jaron is killing him. Yeah. Jaron, I've seen worse. But that doesn't make what Jaron's doing any better. Just because I've seen worse. You don't compare someone to the worst and say, hey, it could be this. No, just be better. Dwayne isn't helping his case, though, when he does have time. That's the problem. Is you can blame Jaron for certain things, and then there are times where Jaron isn't the issue. Dwayne is his own worst enemy. And that's the problem. All right, there was no pressure on him. Logan Thomas coming across the field on 3rd down. He got the defender beat. And he has to dive for the football because Dwayne puts it 2 yards ahead of him. That's not a Jaron Christian problem. That's a Dwayne Haskins inaccurate problem. It's 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2. They do a sprint rollout to the right. And you've got nothing but space and opportunity in front of you to make an easy throw to Dontrell Inman. And you throw it 5 yards over his head. Whose fault is that? Is that Jaron Christian's fault too? No. He's got to be more accurate. There's no excuse for some of these misfires. Antoine Newell. Thank you for the super chat, Antoine. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Haskins seems to thrive in up-tempo situations. I've noticed that. I think Brady Quinn talked about it today as well. That's something that he did at Ohio State. That's something that he's done well. We talked about that yesterday or last week against the Eagles. I also said that's something I want to see from Dwayne. I want to see from Dwayne speed the tempo up. It's hard to speed tempo up when you're not getting completions, when you're not getting into an offensive rhythm. You saw the best drive of the day to me was the Terry McLaurin 11-yard touchdown drive where he caught the football, darted across the field, got into the end zone. Dwayne got into a rhythm with Terry. Dwayne got into a rhythm in general. The field goal drive was good until it stalled out as well. But I think a lot of that was on the ground with J.D. McKissic. Either way, Dwayne got into a rhythm. He changed the tempo. They got up to the line of scrimmage. We even caught Arizona with 12 guys on the field. I just think Dwayne operates better when the defense has less time to set. And so it's almost like not calling a timeout in the NBA and not allowing the defense to have a set play. You know, you run in the NBA, you don't allow a good half-court defense to settle in and make it tough on you. You want to run so they don't get to their set defense. I think Dwayne operates better in a situation like that where the defense doesn't really, because when you up tempo, the defense can't call exotic blitzes. They are only going to be able to call something basic. You've got calls that are built in when a team goes up tempo so guys can just get set up. It's usually, hey, we're going to play cover 2 or we're going to play cover 3. All right. And that's all you're playing. It's just some basic coverage because you're just trying to get everybody lined up. And I think Dwayne operates better when he gets a defense on their heels. But that can't be it. You can't just operate well when things are sped up. You got to also be able to operate when the game is going at a leisurely pace. You also have to be able to operate when the team can set up and scheme up a good defense against you or send the pressure after you. You got to be able to dissect that as well. Lorenzo Simpson, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Lorenzo, who writes, how long does it take to realize Dwayne is best when the offense is sped up? Spread the defense out and let him attack. Take the gloves off. Hashtag sink or swim. Again, while that is great and that's what you want, you also have to understand that you're not going to be able to do that all the time. You've got to be able to have him get in the huddle, call a play, see what the defense is doing pre-snap, make a determination, and get the football to his guy where he can catch it and make a play. Not where he's diving all over the place or where it's 5 yards over his head. Now, again, it would help if the offensive line does their job too. And so it's a two-way street. Dwayne struggles a bit. Offensive line struggles a bit. Maybe he struggles a little bit more because of the struggles of the offensive line. Yeah, these things go hand in hand, but at the end of the day, he has to be better. I watched a throw today, and this is why I don't want to hear a bunch of excuses about the offensive line. I watched a throw from Justin Herbert. And again, I don't like comparing guys because Justin Herbert may pick it up faster. He may be one of these guys that just gets it. You come into the league, and he hits the ground running. And that may not be Dwayne Haskins. He may need more time. Okay, everybody doesn't come in and hit it right away, but Justin Herbert is getting lit up as he's throwing a football on a crucial third down late in the game versus Kansas City. I mean, he is getting mollywopped and dumped on his skull and somehow staring down a gun barrel on a third down. He throws it in between 3 Chiefs defenders. Tyrann Mathieu, I thought he knocked it away. I don't know how he didn't. Goes over his head. The safety is coming over. The other safety is coming over. He's hitting Keenan Allen as he's catching the football. I'm thinking, first of all, it's not even getting to him because Tyrann Mathieu's going to knock it down. He doesn't get it. Keenan Allen does. And it's a catch 30 yards down the field, 25 yards down the field, threaded in the needle. Right inside of that coverage as he's getting hit. I don't want to hear about that. I don't want to hear about, oh, he's getting pressured. Be more accurate. It's really simple. You're going to get hit in this league. You have to be accurate. And I've seen him do it before. That's why I don't want to hear it. I've seen Dwayne stand in a pocket against Green Bay. Pressure on him. He's getting hit and he's delivering a catchable, accurate football. I've seen him do this before. He's just out of sync. And some of it may be the offseason. You can lose all the weight you want. You can talk about, having the playbook, this, that, and the third, but it doesn't replace getting reps with your guys. It doesn't. And the lack of offseason, we said that the offense was going to start slow. Some of you think that's lip service. You tell yourself this, but you really don't want to believe it. I'm telling you that the offense is going to start slow. I've been telling you this since July. Hey, guys, this offense is going to start slow. The defense is going to be ahead of the offense. We've talked about this numerous times. The thing that frustrates me is the inaccurate throws. But this offense is going to start slow regardless. The lack of communication. He's throwing a back shoulder fade to Terry. Terry's taking it up the field. Those are things that they'll iron out. There were some miscommunications with him and his players. He's got a guy going this way. There was a play early in the game where I'm like, what's going on? Terry and Steven Sims are in the same spot. Ball is in the middle of both of those guys, a bunch of Cardinal defenders in the area. I'm like, what are we doing right now? So there's a lot of things going on with this offense. A lot of things going on with this offense. It's not just Dwayne. It's not just the offensive line. It's a combination of a lot of different moving parts. And until we start getting some of this stuff ironed out, we're going to have these issues on offense. Thank you for that super chat, Lorenzo Simpson. Got another super chat. This one is from CGM87. Thank you for the super chat. CGM87, greatly appreciate it. CGM says, O-line is horrific. Jaron Christian makes Hire look like Joe Thomas. Stop. Scott Turner's play calling is horrible. Stop. Dwayne is subpar, but the Hort O-line makes him look terrible, plus no weapons equals disaster. The last part of that statement is somewhat accurate. Dwayne isn't subpar. I think the lines play coupled with some of the demons he's facing in his head, because I think he is getting happy feet. It doesn't help his situation. I think the no weapons part is a lot bigger of a deal than we're making this out to be. He needs more weapons, man. Like, it's just not enough out there. There's no separation. And I think to your comment about Scott Turner, I don't think his play calling is bad. We went over that in the film room last week. His play calling isn't bad. I think what Scott Turner can do a better job of, however, is putting guys in positions to succeed. Like Logan Thomas shouldn't be on the field for 80% of the snaps. I'm sorry. I know he loves his 12 personnel. One, or even his 11 personnel. He loves his 11 personnel more so than anything else. One tight end, one back, 3 receivers. He loves his. Take Logan Thomas off the damn field. If he's not going to catch the football, and this is why if you're going to run as much 11 personnel as we run, then you need an elite tight end. We don't have one. But so you have to compensate for that. Take him off the field if you want that matchup against a backer. If you feel as confident in your running backs and their ability to be versatile and catch the football and make guys miss out in space and break guys off and create separation, then give them an opportunity to do it. But stop forcing Logan Thomas into these situations, because he's average at best. So we've heard about the versatility of Gibson. I haven't seen him catch any passes. He was a receiver at Memphis. Same can be said for J.D. McKissick. Some of that is Dwayne's fault, because J.D.'s open in the flats and Dwayne just refuses to throw him the football. But that's another discussion for another day. Bottom line is, you're not isolating these guys. You keep running that same rail route, that same wheel route up the sideline. This shit ain't working. It's not working. Devondre Campbell was in our back pocket the entire night. Run something else. Anyway, I digress. Thank you for the super chat, CGM87. Brandon Brantley, thank you for the super chat. Brandon writes, at least no major injuries. We aren't 100% sure of that. We don't know the status of Brandon Sheriff right now. But outside of Sheriff, I think Ioannidis had cramps. He came back into the game. I know cramps when I see him. He's fine. Sims is one I'm going to be concerned about because he still looked like he had a little gitch. He had a little bit of a glitch in his giddy-up. He looked a little funny running back to the huddle after plays. So I worry about him once his blood gets to settle and the swelling gets to set in. I think he could be in trouble this week. And we can't afford to lose Steven Sims. We just can't. Got another one here from 99 Problems Chase Ain't One. Thank you for the super chat, 99 Problems Chase Ain't One. Who writes, Zach Ertz, only if he hits free agency. Dwayne, please work on your feet and feeling pressure. You run into sacks. The pass rush was neutralized by Murray, period. He's not Kyler Murray. You can't ask him to be Kyler Murray. He's a totally different athlete. First of all, just because Dwayne lost weight doesn't mean he's a better athlete. He looks like the same athlete he was last year. He's not any faster. He's not any quicker. That's just who he is. Just because he lost weight now. Look, how many guys have we seen that are big, that are athletes, that can run? You know, if you're fast, you're fast. You could be 270 pounds. If you're fast, you're fast. Chase Young is fast. Montez Sweat is fast. If they lost weight, maybe they'd be a little bit faster, but they're fast. They're not going to get much faster because they lost weight. Dwayne Haskins isn't a tremendous athlete. He's just a better one than we thought he was coming out of Ohio State. That being said, yeah, I talked about this already. Don't run into sacks. Like, again, when he panics and does things that you say to yourself, why would you do that? But he's panicking. When you panic, you do things a lot hastier than you would, and you don't think when you panic a lot of times. That's what makes that's what separates the elite from the good, from the average, from the below average, from the terrible in this league. Is because the Patrick Mahomeses, the Aaron Rodgers, the Russell Wilsons, the Lamar Jacksons, I shouldn't even put him in that conversation. I'm sorry. The Deshaun Watson, that's what I meant to say. Those guys, when shit breaks down or when things get tough, when they get to panic mode, they don't when things get tight and pressure is applied, they don't panic. Let me say that. They remain cool and calm. They extend and they find somebody accurately. Dwayne panics, and now he's frantic back there, and he's running into sacks, and he's skipping the ball like Donovan McNabb to his guys. He's throwing ground balls, or he's throwing it high over guys' heads. He's got to settle down. And I think at the end of last year, and towards the end of this game, the game slowed down. Well, there was no pressure at the end of the game when you're getting your brains bashed in 27-3. There's no pressure. So, yeah, maybe the game did slow down for him then. I need him to perform when it's 0-0, when the pressure is on. I need him to perform like he did at the end of the season last year. Not because we're 3-11 and we stink and whether we win or not, there's no pressure on. I need him to perform with pressure on, and I need him to perform like a guy that's cool, calm, and collected. I don't know if he has that in him. I don't know if that's in his DNA or not, but it doesn't seem like it right now at times. And Zach Ertz, for the record, he's not going anywhere. We see guys do this all the time, play the whole media finger-pointing game. Well, they don't want me back, so this, that, and the third. He'll be back in Philadelphia. No doubt in my mind. They got Dallas Goedert. You know what's better than 1, 2 big-time tight ends? I don't think he's going anywhere. Dory Gunner, thank you for the super chat. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Dory Gunner, who writes, too many skilled guys learning new positions. Wide receivers becoming running backs and QBs becoming tight ends. This isn't helping. Guys need to catch the ball and help Dwayne. I didn't see a bunch of drops today. I don't know about you guys. I didn't see a bunch of drops today. You know, I heard one of the broadcasters, I want to say it was Dick Stockton. Somebody's got to go get Uncle Dick. Man, Uncle Dick has been a great play-by-play man for a very long time, but his time's up. Uncle Dick has got to be every bit of 80 in that booth. He's still calling us the Redskins. He's talking about plays and it's a touchback and he downed it at the 1. I'm like, Uncle Dick, it's a touchback. He's like, they're gonna call them for a delay of game. No, they're not calling them for a delay of game, Uncle Dick. It's going to be 4th down, and the Cardinals are going to be forced to punt. No, Uncle Dick. They got the 1st down, man. Somebody's got to go get Uncle Dick out of the booth, man. You had a hell of a run, but I digress. He was talking about drop passes. I don't recall any drop passes tonight. Do you guys? Were there any glaring drops? I mean, the Dontrell Inman one over the middle of the field? Yeah, I'd like Dontrell to catch it. It doesn't help that Dwayne was... If Dontrell Inman's reach is that of a 6'9" wingspan, then Dwayne threw that at 6'10". You're asking Dontrell Inman to go up, climb the ladder, and snatch the ball out of the air and just slightly out of his jurisdiction. Like, bring that down just a little bit. Yeah, there's some underneath coverage that you got to get the ball over those guys. I understand that. Just break it down just a little bit. Just a little bit. So, I don't remember if there being many drops in this particular game. So, yeah, there's that. Thank you for the super chat, Door Gunner. Got here super chat from Jose Martin. Jose, thank you for the super chat, who writes, if we play like this again against Kyler, I really don't want to see Lamar in 2 weeks. You want no parts of that. I didn't want any parts of Lamar, period. You know? I don't even want any parts of the Browns next week. You guys talking about Lamar Jackson. I think the Browns are going to run the football down our throats next week. They got a hell of a twosome back there, and they're going to go play action fake, and I can see Odell getting behind Apke and Darby and Moreland. Potentially, you'll have Kendall Fuller back next week. Maybe you won't. It doesn't matter. I can see him getting behind those guys. What was Landon Collins doing on that first touchdown anyway? He made up for it with the interception, but what was he doing there? Like, the best player on their team, you're just not going to cover him in the red zone, huh? Just gonna sit at the goal line and wait for somebody to run to you. Okay, cool. I got you. Anyway, I digress. I want no parts of the Ravens. It's going to be a long year, guys. I keep telling you guys this. I told you this before the season started. We're going to compete, though. We didn't quit today. I didn't like the way the game ended, but that's another discussion for another day. Derek B, thank you for doubling up. Double up. Derek B writes, trashy O-line forces O into the gun to get the ball out. That doesn't have anything to do with the way they call the game. Scott Turner is just comfortable calling the game from the gun. That's the kind of offense he prefers. If you are having issues with protection, yeah, the gun definitely gives your quarterback a chance to see the field better. Doesn't have to drop back and worry about his footwork that way. Get the football, get rid of it. But that's not why they're in the gun. You know, they're in the gun because that's how Scott Turner wants to run his offense. He's more comfortable calling plays and designing an offense that is based out of shotgun formation, essentially. So the runs are gun runs. A lot of what they do is based off of the shotgun. So let's see. Let's see if we got any more super chats. Got one here from CGM87. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. CGM87, who writes, Louie, love your analysis, bro, but if Scott isn't putting guys in the best position, his play calling isn't good enough. O-line could block Clemson, though. Shaking my head. So this is the thing. He designs really good plays. I showed you that on the film. Now, you can design great plays and scheme guys open, but at the same time, what the best play callers in this league do is they put their best players in positions to succeed. I don't think he's necessarily doing that. Look, we don't have a lot of playmakers. You know, so the ones that you do have, i.e. Steven Sims, Terry McLaurin, Gibson, J.D. McKissick, the ones that you do have, you've got to find ways to put them in positions to succeed. And some of this may be on Dwayne. Because I showed you, there were plays where guys were open or opportunities were there and Dwayne just didn't take advantage of them. That's not on the play caller. But at the same time, too many instances where Dwayne's throwing a football to Logan Thomas. Why? Not when Steven Sims is on the field. Not when Terry McLaurin is on the field. Not when Antonio Gibson or J.D. McKissick is on the field. Thomas should be your fourth or fifth option. Not your first or second option. Now, again, the play could call for Thomas to be the third or fourth option, and Dwayne is just like a magnet going straight to Thomas because that's where he's comfortable. I've always told you guys, and this is a known fact, the tight end is the best friend and security blanket for a young quarterback. It's the easiest guy to see. He's right in your line of vision. He's right over the middle of the football field. So when you panic, your first inclination is to go to your tight end. And if you don't have a really good tight end for a young quarterback, he's going to struggle. Look at Kansas City. Look at Baltimore. They've got 87 young tight ends. All right, but a really good one in Mark Andrews. All right. You go around the league and look at these young quarterbacks a lot of times. Hell, even in Houston, Darren Fells is a really solid tight end. They spent another draft pick on Akins. You have to spend draft capital or at least get your young guy someone to throw the football to at the tight end position because, again, that's the easiest guy for him to locate on the field. He's right in his side of vision, okay? Right in his line of vision, easy to get him the football, all right? You got to have it. We don't have that right now. And Dwayne is trying to force feed Logan Thomas. You heard in camp, oh, Dwayne with another connection to Logan Thomas in the red zone. You know, there was a stretch there in camp, 3 days, 5 touchdown passes. You know where he's trying to go in the red zone. It's not working. Find somebody else. Got another super chat here from Twin D. Thank you for the super chat, Twin D. Greatly appreciate you. Twin writes, licking my wounds as I played with my heart. Never again. Picked our boys this week and also stopping to pay my respects. Thank you. I appreciate that, Twin D. And me too. You know, you always need this dose of reality, especially after what we did in week 1. It's easy to get aboard the train. And I got caught up. But this is the thing. I got caught up, but I was still able to see clear enough to be able to tell you what I was doing in the moment. I didn't get swept up where, oh no, we're going to win this game. We're going to win this game. I told you guys as I'm making the pick, I shouldn't do this. My head is telling me, you know you tripping here, bro. You already know the rules to the game. Why are you playing like this? This is not going to end well for you. I had people in the comment section say, bro, you know better than this. You know better than this. You need to be Barry White right now. Practice what you preach. You know what this is. And I still allowed my heart to get the best of me. It will not, trust me, will not happen again. It won't happen again. Thank you for that super chat, Twin D. All right, that looks like it's it. We've already eclipsed an hour on the show. I thank you guys for joining me. We'll have so much to talk about tomorrow on the program, Washington Football Nightly. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to be really interested to hear what Rivera has to say, especially about the ending to the game. I'll be interested to hear Dwayne talk, speak at the podium, and kind of get a feel for how these guys feel going into week 3. It was a slice of humble pie. It was a nice helping of humble pie. They needed that. And I told you, I said, and this is another reason why I shouldn't have picked us. I said, I want to see, and until they prove this to me, I should have been on the defensive. But I said, we don't handle success very well. We've never handled success very well. How are they going to handle a lot of people talking about this defense? I actually thought the defense wasn't that bad. Kyler Murray's electric. He's dynamic. He did what he's done in this league since he set foot in this league. I thought the defense held their own. Yeah, they gave up some plays. We're missing parts on defense. Our defense is not whole right now. Okay? Yeah, we could upgrade Troy Apke for sure. I'm not telling you Apke's the answer. I'm just telling you we don't have nothing else. Just let the man play. Okay? At some point, they'll have to do something there. You know, I think they were really interested in the Viking safety, but he never became a free agent. They were interested in Hunter Henry. He never became a free agent. All right. They were interested in some guys at tight end and safety. They never became available. So you had to roll with what you got. So at the end of the day, you can't fix everything in one offseason. They've made some strides in certain areas. We've got a long way to go, but it's a long season. I expect improvement in a lot of areas as this season progresses. Again, guys, it's one game. All of these games are they're individual entities, but at the end of the day, we'll stack these up and we'll look at them as a whole. We're only 2 out of 4. We're 2 out of 16 right now. We got 14 games left. Don't overreact to every single game. Okay? All of this stuff needs time. Let it breathe. Okay? Relax. All right? So, with that being said, Washington falls on the road to Arizona, who's now 2-0 on the season, 30-15. Washington will go back home, lick their wounds, come back, Go back on the road, this time to Cleveland, where there'll be fans in the stands for the first time this season. So that'll be a little bit different for this team going on the road in a hostile environment. We'll see how they do there. But we'll talk about this game for the next couple of days. Then we'll bury this. We'll move on and start to turn our attention to Cleveland. But there's a lot to dissect here. Can't wait to take a look at this game and the film and break that down. If you're not on Patreon, get on Patreon so you can be a part of this film session, among other things, the rookie wall, and of course also the NFL's peak performers. So with that being said, I'm going to glide to the side and get out of here, allow you to watch Sunday Night Football, which should be a fun one. Seahawks hosting the Patriots in peace. We'll come back, break that one down at its conclusion. So we'll be back for Sunday Night Football overtime. Cowboys get the win. That sucked, but what can you do? I told you guys that game was not over. They should not have come back and won, though. The Falcons gift wrapped that one for them. At the end of the day, they won. They're the best team in the division. It's only a matter of time. Now, they're going to lose next week. I firmly believe that. Seattle's going to beat them next week. So we've got a chance to get back ahead of this division if we want. But we're going to have to play a hell of a lot better than we played in the first 2 weeks. That last week, I told you guys, last week wasn't all that great either. Okay? The Eagles helped us out. They were very generous last week. But I said that wasn't going to be the case this week. It may not be the case either next week. But we've got a quarterback that we can handle next week. But if he gets hot, as we saw last week on Thursday night, and they're going to have a whole week and a half to prepare for our asses, if he gets hot, could be a long day in Cleveland next week too. But we've got plenty of time to talk about that. You guys, take it easy. Enjoy the game tonight. I've got to get some wine. I need a drink. That was a rough one. I'll see you guys a little bit later on. Have a good one.
LouieTeeNetwork.